In today's video, we're going to take a look at Toronto condos for sale that you can probably buy for $500K or less. That's right, in today's video, we're going to take a look at listings across the city of Toronto. Condo listings, one-bedroom condo listings, no studios, that are for sale and are within a budget of $500,000 or less. And before we start, just a quick disclaimer. As I always tell my clients when I work with them, the best way to actually see what you can legitimately purchase for $500K or less is not by looking at asking prices or what's for sale, but to start by looking at what has sold. And that's exactly what we do when we take on buyers. We first send them a sold report of what has actually sold in their budget or for what they want. But I'm a real estate agent. I know which of these are dummy listings, which are legitimate listings, and I have a pretty good finger on the pulse of the market as is. So due to my expertise and for the content purposes of this video, let's take a look at what's for sale. Let's start. All right, so we have a list of about 300 units for sale, up to the price of $520. The reason I put the price of $520 is because in today's market, more than ever, prices are negotiable. And oftentimes, if you have a max budget of, let's say, $700,000, it is worth looking at things of $715, $720, especially if you're working with someone who knows the market value of things and knows how to negotiate on prices. So let's start without further ado. And I selected some central regions that I actually legitimately have buyers looking in, so it can serve a dual purpose for content and my day-to-day job. So we have these for sale: 251 Jarvis, 251 Jarvis. You should already know that I don't like 251 Jarvis. Not good buildings whatsoever. And there's a reason you have very cheap one bedrooms for sale. Here $408,000 and here $408,000 and $409,000 respectively. Same goes for other entries on the bottom of the list, like these one bedrooms in 36 Lisgar, 36 Lisgar, once again 36 Lisgar. Now, this may or may not be the condo that shall not be named. If it is, I just named it, but it's not. In my professional opinion, only hypothetically awful building that should be avoided at all costs, of course, hypothetically. Once again, this is why you have certain cheap units here. If you don't know the buildings well, a buyer without proper guidance might think, wow, this is such a good deal, let's go for it. But there's a reason it's so cheap. You have to try to find cheap units in good quality buildings, even if your budget is really low, such as $500,000. But let's take a look at this one, for instance, 40 Homewood unit 1102, listed for just $425,000, a one bedroom, one washroom, in the 500s in terms of square footage. And the reason this is of interest to me is because this is one of those buildings that's really old, somewhat depreciated. It has that apartment style feel to it where the laundry is not en suite. It has lockers at like every other, like at 5 floors, I believe. The laundry is in the basement, but you can find some very cheap and affordable units, and it's not an awful buildings. The area, some would say, is sketchy. To me, I think I've been saying it a lot on this channel, I'm very flexible in terms of area. I'm a man at the end of the day. Like, I walk anywhere and anywhere. Maybe I shouldn't, but you know, that's just me. But you see, this needs a lot of work. Parquet floors, outdated kitchen. At $425,000 is probably reasonably due to the work required and really where the property is located. Maintenance are above $1 per square foot, and there is parking though, so that's an added bonus for sure. But some spots in this building are exclusive, not owned. This is also another interesting listing for a one bedroom, one washroom, listed at just $429,000, 20 Tubman Avenue. This unit is in 20 Tubman. Now, this is where, once again, there are dummy listings, and this is a dummy listing. I don't like that expression because it's a real listing, but it's a offer night listing, and if you don't have the context, you would not know. And purely not even looking at the brokerage remarks, I can tell you, based on the asking price, they're doing an offer night. Their expectation is higher than this asking price, and it should probably go higher anyways. Fair market value, I'm just speaking off the top of my head, but what I know of this area, I've purchased in 20 Tubman, I've purchased across the street at 34 Tubman. I can tell you that this is definitely valued higher than $429 or $450. But you know my opinions on Regent Park. It should still ideally go within bounds of $500, but this is not the actual asking price. And as I'm going through this list, this sticks out to me. Just, you know, across the streets, practically 225 Sumac, and this is not a dummy listing, primarily because I would have to say it's price change. So usually that's a key indication. And being sub 500 square feet at the asking price of $439,000, I think this is a suitable unit to discuss for condos less than $500,000. Does it have a proper bed? It does have a proper bed, as we can see, but very miniature in size, just quite small. But at least for some people, this is much more palatable than those sliding door beds. The photos don't help it, but you can see this has been on market for a long time, and there's a risk that if the exposure here is north, which it is, it's actually going to be facing the development that Tridel is going to bring to Regent Park, which is a whole discussion in of itself. I'm just looking. All right, so this is interesting. Let's take a look at this one. 18 Reen Drive. 18 Reen Drive is in Bayview Village. So another one, this is definitely for offer night. 18 Reen Drive in Bayview Village. This building, this unit, a 1-bed, 1 wash, or 1+1 with 1 wash, let alone a 1-bed with 1 parking in Bayview Village at 18 Reen Drive. It's not like a fancy high-end building, but it's Bayview Village at the end of the day. By the way, I live in Bayview Village. Nonetheless, it's not going to go for $448,000. It's also probably not going to sell at $448,000 anyways, because the offer night strategy in today's market sucks, but they're using it anyways. If you are looking for something in Bayview Village, 1 Reen Drive, this unit, $411. This is probably priced to sell at $437,000, but the fact that there's no other photos of the interior, just one photo, has me concerned. This unit for sale in 270 Wellington West, unit 1025, listed for $448,000. We're swinging back to downtown, 1 bedroom, 1 washroom, in the 600s in terms of square footage. Once again, it's a building I like. I've done business in this building, but it's another listing that's not actually for what it's asking for. It's inducing an offer night, trying to induce a bidding war. This is just to show you, right, that you cannot determine, unless you are me or someone who knows the market really well, you cannot just determine what's in your budget by asking price alone. Similarly, on the other side of the spectrum too, a lot of things you think might be out of your budget, but they're actually not out of your budget. They should be in your budget. It's just the seller has unreasonable expectations in terms of what they're asking for. All right, this one's interesting. 20 Richards in unit 611. Let's take a look at this one. Yes, see, this is one of those walk-through bedrooms. This should essentially, in my mind, be categorized as a studio. I don't recommend these walk-through bedrooms to clients. If a client is keen on seeing them or is really keen on that area or that building, I will send it to them, but I'll say in my comments, it's probably going to be a pain in the ass. Nonetheless, though, this is not to be confused with like a bedroom in the middle of the floor plan, because at least those, the bedroom is oriented towards the window and it's not in a hallway. It's not by the door, and you have a sliding door. These, I really truly do not like these walk-through bedrooms. Another interesting unit to discuss that's listed below $500,000, a 1-bed, 1 wash, no park, in 20 Buyers Muse. Unit 315, I actually recently assisted someone to find something for rent in this building. I like it. I like the building. I like 38 and Uzi a bit better, but this is definitely very much so passable as well, I would say. For $458,000, this is a price reduction. Believe it or not, I did not show it, but I came across this listing with another buyer previously. So it was previously, I believe, listed around $480 for $490. Let's take a look at the unit. Yeah, so you see the exposure is not the best. And yeah, so this is the middle of the floor plan bedroom that's better than the walk-through bedroom, right? At least you get some sort of privacy here. Location at 20 Buyers Muse is really good. Weird colors on the appliances, if I'm seeing right. Blue appliances, I haven't seen that frequently. But you do have nice floor-to-ceiling windows. I wouldn't be surprised once again if it's relatively close to the highway, but someone would have to see in person. But the balcony, actually, for the size of the unit, I'm just going to go back a few photos. The balcony for the size of the unit seems decent. These seem sizable. Another building I recommend my buyers avoid, and it's part of my Toronto condo buildings to avoid list. By the way, hopefully the thumbnail pops up here if you haven't seen that video. The downtown version, I have a Toronto condos to avoid list. I have a downtown Toronto condos to avoid list, but it's 159 Wellesley. I'm not a fan of that building whatsoever. I'm not surprised that there's a 1-bedroom, 1 washroom listed for $468. $165 Legion Road, units 2222. This is a decent building. It is an Airbnb heavy building, but it's a rare Airbnb heavy building that's actually good. You don't often have that. This 1 bedroom, 1 washroom, sub 500 square feet with 1 parking though. And I think if you're looking in Mimico, it is yet another suitable choice for someone looking in that area, sub $500,000. Let's see what the exposure is here, because in this area you can be close to the trains. It doesn't seem to be looking onto the trains. I think it might be looking onto the shared courtyard. And as we go up the list and price points, there's, you know, newer and somewhat better quality buildings, but then the risk as you get closer to 499 is more offer night listings. 319 Jarvis, unit 3811, very interesting case here. It's a brand new building on the east side of downtown, close to Jarvis, listed for 470, 1 bedroom, 1 washroom. Once again, sub $500,000 in size. It's probably listed by the builder at this point. It's probably part of the unsold inventory. I know this firsthand is because this building is across the street from a building I have listings in, and really the only units that I've sold in that area are units by the builder in this building. When something is for sale by the builder, you have to always confirm whether it's including HST or not, if the cap fees still apply or not. But this seems like a pretty good unit, I would say. The views here are pretty nice. I mean, people who hate and despise Toronto, anything will be bad views for them. But in the summer, this is mostly going to be green and you're facing the park. I like it. If these fees and HST is included in purchase price, then it might be worth it. If you see me silent, I'm just looking, folks. I'm just looking. What stands out to me here? What about this one, 15 Lower Jarvis, which is pretty much 20 Richardson. They're almost the same building. I suspect that at $480,000, this is probably not for offer night. Let's take a look at the unit itself. Yep, 15 Lower Jarvis. I don't like the area, honestly. It's just a traffic nightmare. What is this? Oh, okay, I see. Sorry, this was confusing me for a second. Kind of hard to make out the floor plan here. Oh yeah, okay, this picture puts into perspective the floor plan. This is gonna be much smaller than it looks in these photos, I'll promise you that. Ah, you see right there. Quite close to the Gardner Expressway. I mean, this would be a deal breaker for a lot of people. Sound cancellation in this building is really quite average. It's not awful, but it's not great either, especially if you're going to be this close to the Gardner. I think there are going to be some issues. Interesting one, 12 Bonnet Castle, unit 312. Once again, I suspect that this is one of those, it's probably not offer night. I mean, this is 1 bedroom, 1 washroom, listed at $488,000. The reason I suspect that this is not listed for offer night, it's a legitimate pricing. It's a unit that you probably can get below 500, obviously below even 488 if you can negotiate off the price, but it's probably going to face those warehouse, that lot that's going to have a lot of construction coming. I mean, the unit looks fine itself. I like building, obviously I like 12 and 16 Bonnet Castle a lot. It does have its elevator wait time issues, but that's really the extent of its problems. And it's a little bit, some might say it's disconnected from the rest of the city. I don't think so. I mean, you don't have like immediate transit access. You have to take a bus to the streetcar in Queens Quay. It's a bit of a walk, but it's not that bad. I mean, it's not as if you're living in Riverdale or you're living in, the Junction. And this is what I'm talking about, right? This lot, last I checked, had applications on it. You never know. It could be 2 years, it could be 3 years, it could be 7 years. But this lot is not long for this life. You're gonna face construction. Once again, hard to know when. You can do your homework if you're interested in the unit at its price point, and that's something your agent should be doing for you, is giving you the facts so you know what you're dealing with. But this is a borderline case because the building is good, but the view is not so good. Another 1 bedroom listing listed below $500,000 here is this unit in 352 Front Street, unit 2317, listed for $488,000. I like this building. I made a whole separate video on this building. Go check out that video as well. Give you the pros, give you the cons, as always. Let's see what it looks like. And yeah, bright photography, I could tell you that. Floor to ceiling windows really help. Appliances look decent. Size-wise is narrow, but if you're buying a unit in this price point, you already should know what you're dealing with. You're not gonna have 700 square feet wide, you know, box-like layouts. Yeah, I like the floor to ceiling windows. Let's just see a little bit better. You have a CN Tower view. That's great, fantastic. It's probably facing the parking lot, I would say, which surprisingly doesn't have an application on it right now, believe it or not, at least as of like 3 months ago. But the CPA building in that area does have an application, and that is going to be a condo. Yeah, like these 1+1s in 25 Mainland, there's 1+1 in 319 Jarvis, there's 1+1 in 50 Power. Like when you have something like 25 Mainland, an older building, 1+1, this is not for offer night. You're just gonna get kind of higher maintenance fees associated with it. Yeah, I mean, as I said, like, you know, 785 square feet, it's listed for $489. The maintenance is $929,000 of 785 square feet without parking. I mean, it is all-inclusive maintenance, to be fair, but still, that's a hefty maintenance. It is an older building. Well, let's just take a look at it. Yep, I know these floor plans quite well. I actually was looking in this building like way back in 2021 with a buyer. And this is just if you want a cheap price per square foot in the central location in downtown and have very little regard for resale value, this can be your bet.